Google local service ads have been around now for a few years, but are still one of the newest ad platforms that a lot of local businesses don't even know about and definitely are not taking advantage of. So in this video today, we are going to be talking about everything to do with local service ads, how they differ from traditional search ads, if they're worth running them. So if you've been on the fence about running them for your business, this is definitely a video that is for you. So let's start with what actually are local service ads. Local service ads are a paid ad that shows up at the very top of Google when someone searches for a service in a specific area. So things like plumber near me, or dentist in San Francisco, or AC repair in Redwood City. So they appear above traditional search ads, above the map pack, above organic results. If you're running them, you are literally the first thing that people see when they search for your service in your area, which is huge. The main difference between the search ads and the local service ads is how you're billed. So with local service ads, you pay when somebody actually contacts you. So they can click on your ad all you want, but until they call you or they message you, you're not getting charged. Whereas the traditional Google ads, you are paying every time somebody clicks. And so this is a big perk for a lot of business owners because they want to be able to know that their money is going to bring them in leads, which is essentially what the local service ads are doing. Another thing to note is that not every business qualifies to be able to run local service ads. They are only available in certain industries and in certain geographic locations. So right now, they are only available in North America. They are expanding, but currently only available in the US and Canada. And there are a lot more industries that are eligible for them in the US and a lot less industries in Canada. The first step is always checking whether you're eligible or not to run them, which you can do on the local service ads website. If you just Google local service ads, you'll be able to input your postal code or your zip code and see if your industry is available in that area. If you are eligible, Google requires a very in-depth verification process, much more in-depth than what you probably did with your traditional Google ads. And so you need to provide your business license, proof of insurance, a background check for the owner and sometimes employees of the business. It does vary depending on your industry. And Google is doing all of this because once you are approved, they are basically vetting your business and telling the searcher that this business is a legitimate business. And so that's why you'll see the Google Verified badge attached to that ad once it is approved and running. So once it is running, the local service ads pulls information directly from your Google business profile. So it is pulling your reviews, your average rating, your hours, your business name, the locations that you serve. So if your profile is weak, your ad is going to be weak. And so that connection is really important because unlike traditional search ads where you control ad copy completely, the keywords, everything, the local service ads lean heavily onto your reputation that you have through your business profile. So let's talk now about how they differ from traditional Google search ads, because this is where a lot of people get confused. Like I said before, how you're billed is very different. So the local service ads, you are billed every time somebody contacts you. The search ads, you are billed every time somebody clicks. The other big difference, honestly, they are on different platforms. And so the local service ads have their own platform, their own backend CRM type of platform where you can go in and see your leads. And then the traditional Google ads has their own platform. You can connect those platforms in the background to share the billing profile, but the login and everything is completely separate. The other massive difference between the two is the amount of control that you have over the ads. So with search ads, you have a lot of control over different aspects. You control the keywords that you bid on. You can add in negative keywords. You can test different ad copy. You can send traffic to different landing pages. You have a lot of control. With local service ads, you don't have any of that. So you don't bid on individual keywords. You don't manage your match types. You can't add in negative keywords. You don't build out ad groups. You don't send them to different landing pages. None of that. Instead, what you do have control over is that you choose your job types, your service area, your budget, and your bidding strategy. And then Google's system matches you to the search. So that does mean that it is easier to set up, but you are also giving a lot more control to Google. If you do want to target one very specific service within your industry, traditional search ads will give you the better ability to do that, whereas local service ads are better suited for your core broad services, the things that you do every day and just want more leads for. Now let's talk about how Google would rank your local service ads, because it is different than how it would rank your traditional search ads. So just because you've gone through the verification doesn't mean that you will be guaranteed the top spot. Local service ads still operate on an auction. Google will look at a few different key factors when deciding who to show first. So the first one is your bid, meaning how much you're willing to pay per lead. The second is your responsiveness. So how quickly and consistently are you answering calls and replying to messages that come in through the local service ads? The third is your reviews and the rating of those reviews. The fourth is how complete your Google business profile is. And the last is how relevant your job types and service area match the searchers. The other massive difference between the two platforms is how you can do ongoing optimization to increase your ranking with local service ads. So now that we know what Google looks at to rank your ad, how can you optimize the ads once they are running and get them to perform better? The first key is speed. So speed to lead matters a lot. So if someone calls and you miss it, that affects your responsiveness. If someone messages you and you wait hours to respond, that also affects your responsiveness. And the responsiveness is one of the main ranking factors that Google is looking at. So this isn't just about customer service, it directly impacts how often your ad is going to show up. So if you can, you want to answer every call. If you can't answer, you want to call back immediately. If you enable messaging through the ads, you need to be able to respond quickly to them as well. The second thing that you can do to optimize your local service ads is your reviews. So the local service ads pull your reviews directly from your Google business profile. So that means your review rating and your total review count matter. So if you have a strong review history and you are continuously getting more reviews, that sends a signal to Google that your business is active and trusted, and then Google tends to rank you higher. So you want to make sure that you keep asking for reviews, that you keep responding to the reviews. You don't want to let months just go by without new reviews coming in. You always want to be gathering more reviews. The third way to optimize is managing the leads inside the platform. So like I said, local service ads is a completely separate platform. So you can go into that platform and see the leads that are coming in through those ads. And then with those leads, you can mark them, whether they booked an appointment or whether they were just looking for information. You can also rate them as if they were a good lead or a bad lead. You can tell Google why they were a bad lead, whether it was a call for a service you don't answer or offer or outside of your service area. This doesn't mean that you can always dispute a lead, but Google uses AI to evaluate the call and determine whether it was a good lead or not and whether they should charge you. And so sometimes you will get charged for a bad lead, and sometimes you'll get a credit for it. But when you consistently mark the good leads and bad leads and tell Google why they were good or bad, then you are helping train the algorithm. And over time, that feedback helps Google understand what a good lead looks like for your business. And finally, you do want to track revenue. With any type of ad that you're running, you want to track revenue. You want to be able to make sure that you know that the ad is working for your business. So you don't just want to track your cost per lead, you want to really see how many of those leads turned into a booked appointment or a booked job. So that you can really understand what the return on your ad spend is, because a $90 lead that turns into a $3,000 job is very different than a $20 lead that never closes. So you definitely want to be tracking the outcome of all of your leads, no matter what ad platform you're running. So now that we know how they work and how you can optimize them, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of the local service ads versus the traditional Google ads. The pros are you get a premium placement at the very top of Google, and that is huge. The second is that they are easier to set up than traditional Google Ads campaigns. The third is that you don't have to manage the keywords or match types or negative keywords or anything like that. So management of it is a little bit easier as well. The fourth is that once the local service ads are live, you usually start to see leads come in within just a few days. And then the big one, You pay per lead instead of paying per click. But there are a lot of downsides to local service ads as well. And so some of the cons are that leads can be expensive, especially if you are in a very competitive area with a lot of competition running Google local service ads, or if you are in a very competitive niche. The second is that you do have a lot less control over everything. The third is that you can't sculpt the traffic the way that you can with search campaigns. You can't narrow down and niche down into specific services within your industry. The fourth is that because it is easier to launch, it does tend to get more competitive as well. A lot of business owners can run them on their own, and they are easier to set up, and therefore more of them tend to run them. And the last one is that there are some limitations when it comes to disputing certain types of leads. Every market is different. No two businesses are exactly alike. Some businesses absolutely crush it with local service ads, especially if they have a strong review base and solid follow-up system, and others find better results with the traditional search ads that give them more control, better efficiency, and better overall leads. So then this leads to the next question that I get a lot. Should you run local service ads or Google traditional search ads, or should you run them together? And in most cases, I recommend running them together. No two businesses are exactly the same. One company with 205-star reviews might dominate local service ads, whereas a newer company in the same industry that doesn't have the reviews might find that the cost per lead is just too high. So I wouldn't put all of my eggs in one basket. I'm a big fan of diversification and testing different platforms, especially in the early days of starting to run ads for a business. If the business has the budget to be able to test both, that's usually what I recommend. But you want to make sure that you're tracking the revenue coming in from both avenues and then lean into whichever one is working better for your business. So if you've watched this and you've decided that your business just is not ready for local service ads yet, that's okay. You can start with traditional Google ads while building your Google business profile and the reviews, and then add in the local service ads when you're ready. If that does sound like you, and now you're thinking, well, how do I create a search campaign from scratch? You'll want to check out this video here where I walk you through step by step exactly how to do that. I'll see you over there.